Hello and welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the show where, it's the end of the night. I've had 2 really heavy beers and I just want to talk about nerdy shit. So that's what we're going to do, essentially. This is Nerds of the Old Republic and I'm Adam.
I'm Mike.
I don't know who's next.
I am Shaun.
And we are here with near the end of our season. We're going to call this the State of Nerddom 2026. We have brought a few topics that we wanted to discuss about nerdy fiction, nerdy literature, nerdy intellectual property. And it's kind of centered in this topic that Shaun brought to our attention, which is the death of the franchise. I fear this is him rallying more against Disney and all of their No, I'm just kidding, actually. If you haven't heard our Fuck You Disney podcasts, go find them back in our back catalog. Our catalog is deep. This is season 5.
Yeah.
Guys, we've almost hit 10,000 downloads.
Man, we are becoming a part of the pop culture, you know?
We are moving the zeitgeist towards the arc of our trajectory here.
That's right.
That was
a very academic way of saying, like, we're really fucking cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was actually just word salad. I said nothing. But I guess to bring us to non-academic word salad, I don't know, I'm starting to feel that last drink from the last podcast here. Shaun, save us, please, here so we can talk about... We're going to start with your topic, and then we each have brought a topic additionally that we kind of came to outside of the cast, because we have, things we agree upon to do monthly, and then we each have kind of our own interests too, which is why this works so well, is we kind of complement each other in different ways here.
Kudos to you for saying it works well. Appreciate that.
Wait, are you trying to divorce us?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I got scared for a second. I was like, you brought the tartlet.
Just cheating on us with other podcasts.
Well, so am I. So
once in a while, I like to moonlight with the Zavils guys.
I know, but I wish you'd come see the therapist with us about, our issues.
I know.
It's. I thought we had an open podcast, guys.
Yeah, I didn't think you said we have an open podcast.
Dear listeners, again, Mike didn't read the contract. It said we have open rights to join other podcasts.
I thought it said till death do us part.
I thought Adam's been on some other podcasts too. He's dabbled.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I fictional play D&D as a turtle. It's fine.
Mike's the only one who has had the fidelity to this podcast.
I know. I'm going to have to start
bless him.
sleeping around and then do some other podcasts.
And then rub it in our faces that you do. They've got other listeners.
I don't want to rub
more listeners. Yeah, I'm going to have to get tested after this.
Yeah. Well, before we dig into the topics, I think we need to get more drunk because I don't think Adam's drunk enough yet.
Am I slurring my words appropriately for the first cast of the night?
Enough.
The last beer was 9%.
Well, this beer is only
20.
5.6.
Oh, that's reasonable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, this will be a good way to send off the night. And we'll drink another beer.
Sure.
I think we decided we're doing all beer as an all beer night.
That's right. Fill your bellies.
Yeah, so let me break off some liquid bread for you guys.
Thank you. And while you're doing this, I would like to point out that 1, I am not driving. We are currently in my house. And 2, that we do make sure we're okay before we leave. We don't just pound beers and then say, here, let's drive home.
Great point, Adam. We definitely are responsible drinkers.
And holy crap, I have had only 2 of this kind of beer. So this is a fantastic find.
Well, I chose this beer because my assignment was to find something nerdy.
Mm-hmm.
And I also went to a Wegmans, as Mike went to one in an earlier cast.
We really got to see if they'll sponsor us.
Any kind of place that will sponsor us.
Yeah, honestly. Do you sell dog shit bags? You could sponsor us.
Planned Parenthood, whatever.
That's right.
We'll take it all.
Reproductive rights for all.
So I found, I perused the beer aisle. There's all these good looking beers, but trying to find something that's thematically matching up is sometimes tough. But I saw this one and I thought, well, okay, it ticks some boxes. Number 1, I don't think we've ever had a smoked black lager.
That's correct.
Which might be the only beer in existence that's called a smoked black lager as far as I know.
It's very niche.
And it's called Smoke and Dagger, which...
Fantastic.
Right. As soon as I see Dagger, I think fantasy. And then Smoke and Dagger, I think of like the Marvel character Smoke or Cloak and Dagger. And like there's some punning in here and there's some franchise connection in this as well. And
it's a badass name.
I thought it was pretty cool. And it's it's just, I thought anything smoked is instantly better. 100%. And I like lagers, and once you go black, you never go back. So,
wow. Well, I'm. All right. Have a great night, Bears Nation. See you later.
Did you invent that? Did you come up with that all
I just now.
Wow.
Right up.
Yeah, never heard that before in my life.
And the lyrical gangster.
Yeah.
And
Murderer.
As the can says, it's cloaked in mystery. And it's also brewed with imported Bavarian malt and smoked and roasted malts with a step infusion mash. And here we go. Traditional old
I resent your resemblance to my voice. Thank you.
No way. Traditional old world ingredients and cutting edge lagering techniques bring you this devilishly good lager. It's smooth, smoky. Fuck. All right. And perfect for whatever happens in the dark of the night.
My God.
I'm sorry. The way you hit the word smoky there, I just couldn't.
I know.
I could not. Sorry.
Character.
I'm sorry.
When you edit this, put some tenor saxophone in the background. The way you started that, there was an Onion video years ago that was, the premise of it was that Barack Obama got caught lip syncing his speeches. And they were like, and this is what the microphone really picked up. And it was Barack Obama, and he was like, now what the American people need to realize.
Good shit. Well, let's go. Let's get black.
All right. Yeah, let's go, guys. This is going to go one of two ways in my experience of having smoked lagers.
You've had other smoked lagers?
I've had 2 other smoked lagers before my life. So,
I've never even heard of a smoked lager.
Old First Ward downtown makes one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it smells smoked.
I don't remember the other one. It's going to smell smoked. And I'm interested to see everyone's take after this.
Ooh, I'm just watching. I'm drinking from the can, but watching you guys pour it out.
Oh, the caramel head there.
You got to see the color.
That is beautiful. Dark.
Yeah. When the foam
I've had
is
many black lagers. I'm not sure that I recall having a smoked black lager before. So.
This might be the darkest lager on the planet.
Check out this dark motherfucker. I am not going to tell you what I expect it to taste like, but I will tell you that I'm right as soon as we have a sip, I think.
All right.
You guys go ahead. I got quite a head on this beer here. Might be a moment.
Yep.
So?
Smoked pork. Salt.
I don't know. I do like smoked pork.
That's what's bringing in the flavor, you think?
That's what they smoke the malt.
Yeah.
And there's only so many flavors you can get after that.
Yeah. Smoked and roasted malts. It's right on the can.
Right. There you go. I mean, yeah.
It is savory.
It is definitely savory.
That is out fucking standing.
Yeah.
God damn.
If you like the flavor, you like the flavor, you like the flavor. There's definitely.
Oh, that is so good.
It's like an IPA. It's for you or it's not for you.
Yeah. I'm not decided yet.
I like it. I would drink it. I'm kind of like you with the hoppy lager.
Yes. It's not quaffable.
No, you will not chug this.
No
one will chug this. Except for maybe Mike. I don't know. He's looking like, I'll just take 2 things.
I want to.
They're good.
So good.
Like, put the IV away.
They're not easy to make either. They're labor intensive.
I will say it's from Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure
Jack's Abbey before.
Where that's from.
I think we've had them before.
Do they do Three Philosophers? Is that Jack's Abbey? Or?
That's actually Unibrew. It's the same that did Fin de Meaux from the previous one.
Gotcha.
This is, it's good.
Ooh,
it's from Massachusetts. They're assholes, but
yeah,
it's tasty.
Fuck the Patriots. I mean, I'm like contractually obligated to say that.
Fuck the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Celtics.
If you're from Boston, no offense. We just hate all your sports teams.
Yeah.
That's all.
You might be a good person, but all of your sports suck.
No, I mean, my experience with people from Boston is they're not good people.
Oh, that's not true at all.
No, I will say.
Is it?
No. You guys, we don't have any listeners from Massachusetts.
Yeah, their sports fans are a little bit too much.
Oh, well, then fuck them.
I will say the one time I was in Massachusetts for a bachelor party, we tried to troll this guy, and he was the nicest bartender. He was like, I really think the Bills are going to be better next season. Like, I see a lot of growth possibility there. And like, I really hope you guys like come up a little bit.
Wow.
And I was like, I wanted to hate you, but now can I just have another shot,
He
please?
just wanted tips.
I mean, he got him for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. People in Massachusetts are great. I know people there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lovely part of the country.
Yeah, really.
For the record,
Beautiful.
Boston's great.
Boston's a beautiful.
Cradle of motherfucking America.
Yep. Yeah, it's not bad. It's like you said, salted pork or salted smoked pork.
Yep.
Right, whatever.
This is for me. This is another beer that I enjoy. Probably couldn't have more than one.
Yeah.
In a sitting.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Yeah. I think this is the second beer in a row we've done tonight that's a sipper. You know, and enjoy a sip every few minutes.
That might have been a flaw in our planning here, because now thinking about it, you stacked sippable beers on top of each other, and I was like, oh shit, like that feeling where it's like your stomach contents are probably up in your esophagus. I'm starting to get that a little bit.
Well, hey,
do you need some bread? Do you
at
need
least all we've had tonight is a whole bunch of meats and cheeses and breads and dips
soft cheese,
and now this pie thing that.
Yeah, that torte that was fantastic.
That was also very good. Yeah,
it was part of the Prancing Pony menu, right?
Yeah, we just kind of extended the Prancing Pony all night, which was great. If you didn't listen to our Lord of the Rings podcast, it's really part 0.5 of our series here, because we're going to talk about all 3 major books. We've already done the Silmarillion, so go ahead and listen to that. But Fellowship of the Ring, and then next season 6 for us, we're going to do the Two Towers. And then we'll do the Return of the King when that movie hits its important anniversary coming up as well.
That's the plan. We're sticking to it.
And then all the appendices, of course. And then
the errata,
the edition that has all the annotations explaining how the parts of the book evolved over time and changed.
Tolkien's personal correspondence with his other friends and family. All of all.
I really hope his footnotes are like David Foster Wallace, where they're just sarcastic comments to us about how dumb I am, because I really enjoy being told how dumb I am.
Yeah, there's how whatever digression he's on somehow becomes about like the American tourism industry.
And LotR had really delved into America really has turned into a capitalist society.
You know what's funny? But it's like his footnotes are like that, but about Middle Earth history.
I knew it.
Right.
Knew it.
Right.
It's
and really interesting shit.
Yeah.
Like if you're into that stuff, which we are.
I mean, that's why we're here.
Well, so franchise.
That
stuff.
That brings us into the discussion of franchises, because the Tolkien Legendarium has become a franchise now with the commercialization of the stories. So
thanks, Amazon.
Our first framing point for today's discussion is the idea of how the franchise has grown from a very limited thing back in the 80s, 90s. I'd say you had Star Wars, Star Trek. You had, Lord of the Rings to an extent, but it really was limited to the published text.
Yeah. It was a shitty kids animated show.
Yeah. There was very little franchising other than like kids TV shows like Transformers and, Masters of the Universe.
G.I. Joe.
Right. Stuff like that. And then Indiana Jones. Then you start realizing, I think Hollywood realizes that the real money is in the the subsidiary published stuff, because once you've already established a winner, it's so much easier to go back to that world and keep mining it until you've basically strip mined the thing to nothing. So what that gives rise to is the bloated corpse of Star Wars, the I guess the animated zombie unkillable Lord of the Rings franchise, the now probably flatline Star Trek world. Thanks, Alex Kurtzman.
I don't want to see the Academies. Please stop.
I mean, it's the Marvel movies, which had their meteoric rise to superstardom and then complete and utter implosion within the shortest timescale I've ever seen for this kind of property that we're talking about.
The only redemption being Spider-Man.
Maybe even not even if it's like that. That's still tenuous.
Yeah.
So the topic for discussion today is: has the franchise, as it exists and as we have known it, is it dead? And is it time for new ideas? Or is this just a lull And will the franchise rebound?
Adam?
Sure. So as we were talking, I was thinking about how capitalism ruins everything. I mean, we mentioned earlier how much I like Cory Doctorow, and like one of his concepts is enshittification of the internet. Yes. How the more you try to squeeze out, I know, he's so eloquent. The more you try to squeeze out capital from a limited resource, the shittier the resource gets. And that's what a franchise feels to me. You know, you've got this fecund idea, this intellectual property that you can like mill, and if you tend to it carefully, maybe you can get like a decade or something. But really what the infinite streaming capitalism world that we live in now has done is you've got to pump out a new property every 6 months, maybe a year if you're lucky, right? You remember the Marvel series coming out like, gosh, every 12 to 15 when they were in the middle of their stride, right?
Sometimes a couple of years, but that was when it was at its height.
Yeah, like Endgame, and then prior to Endgame was like maybe Civil War. There was like a 2-year gap or something.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really for me what's caused it is that our attention spans are shorter. We're not willing to wait. There's always something else left to do. So you got to pump this franchise out. You got to pump this thing out faster. The faster you do it, the less quality it's going to be. I mean, think about Tolkien and the 20 years he put together for his books, right? Is that roughly it for 3 books?
I think it was 40s to the 60s between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but we're also talking about the lifetime.
Well, yes.
Fair.
Yes, yeah.
Fair. I don't know that sort of time frame is possible anymore. Mm-hmm. So even our really good writers who like we find impressive, they're forced to pump out more content in a shorter amount of time. I won't say that the books are supposed to be shorter, because one of the things I'm going to talk about, those books are 500, 700, 900 pages actually, and people are buying those, which is, I think, amazing. But I think the time frame that they have to work with means that the content we're getting is shittier.
And I'm glad you brought up like writing and books, because this shit's not unique to film at all. Many years ago, when like many nerds of a literary sensibility, like the gentleman at this table, I had some loose writing aspirations myself, and I would, out of curiosity, I would read interviews with literary agents just to see how the business worked and what, you know, things looked like on that side of things. And, you know, what these literary agents would talk about all the time is how much more attractive a property would be to them if it was coming in as part of a series. Because what they don't want to do is go to bat for a book and get it published and then have to start all over. What's your second book going to be, right? Yep. They want the built-in audience. They want to be like, okay, if you liked book 1, book 2's coming, right? Yep. And so the franchising thing has been going on in literature forever. I think this is a good point to bring in the Scorsese stuff. So I agree. A few years ago, Martin Scorsese was giving an interview, and he got asked something about Marvel movies. And, you know, he basically said that he didn't think much of them. He didn't consider them cinema and that they weren't for him. And so that got blown up, and 1,000 think pieces were published in 1,000 online periodicals.
Clickbait titles, Scorsese slams
everyone was outraged, and everyone was mad at Scorsese and everything. And it got to be this big controversy. And so, Martin Scorsese, God bless this man and his films, by the way, because his films are some of the finest movies ever made, wrote this op-ed kind of clarifying his position in the New York Times. So I'm just going to read a few like excerpts from it. This is from a longer article, but the introduction is, he was asked a question about Marvel movies. I answered it. I said that I've tried to watch a few of them and that they're not for me. They seem to be closer to theme parks than they are to movies as I've known and loved them throughout my life. And in the end, I don't think they're cinema. He said he clarifies it's a matter of personal taste and temperament, but then he goes on to try to explain why he thinks what he thinks. He said to him, cinema was about revelation, aesthetic, emotional, and spiritual revelation. It was about characters, the complexity of people and their contradictory and sometimes paradoxical natures. It was about confronting the unexpected on the screen and in the life, and enlarging the sense of what was possible in the art form. And that was the key for us. It was an art form. I'm going to skip ahead a bit here. He says, the sameness of today's franchise pictures is something else again. What's not there is revelation, mystery, or genuine emotional danger. Nothing is at risk. The pictures are made to satisfy a specific set of demands, and they're designed as variations on a finite number of themes. So the last thing I'll read is what you were just talking about, Adam. That's the nature of modern film franchises. Market researched, audience tested, vetted, modified, revetted, and remodified until they're ready for consumption. In his conclusion, he quotes Bob Dylan. In the words of Bob Dylan, the best movies are quote heroic and visionary. Today, that tension is gone. The situation, sadly, is that we now have two separate fields. There's worldwide audio-visual entertainment, and there's cinema. They still overlap from time to time, but that's becoming increasingly rare. And I fear that the financial dominance of the one is being used to marginalize and even belittle the existence of the other.
Well, when was this published?
2019.
What a prescient point, because now we're seeing the backlash and people finally realizing that the Hollywood formula for franchises is no longer going to work. You think about the failure of so many attempts to franchise things. And like recent memory, you've got Rings of Power trying to expand Lord of the Rings and the Tolkien Legendarium and failing pretty hard in my regard. I think most people agree with me that it's not great.
Not
the I'll say it was just there a second ago.
Star Wars sequel.
Star Wars. Oh well, fuck. Dude,
well, yeah, really we know where you stand.
This rocket here. I mean, like, but yeah, you've heard me all rant about this before. Like Disney destroyed Star Wars because they market grouped it or focus grouped it to death. The what is it? The Mockingjay.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games one is another great example where you've gone across several medium, and it's the same thing you just said, where it's basically reducing an interesting idea to the how many sequels can we crank out, how much of a spectacle can we make on the screen, and any kind of interesting whatever you built here, we're just going to make it work for the formula. And so much of the stuff has to fit, like, I hate to borrow that tired phrase now from like people online, pundits and that like the message. And like, it's gotta fit that, like everything has to be for everyone and it has to have this like whatever. The idea of the novel movie or story or whatever has taken such a back seat to what's marketable. And I'm pleased to see these things starting to fail. I am pleased to see the franchise die. Because that means maybe, finally, people who have truly creative ideas and visions will get their chance to put that stuff together and get it printed or get it put on the screen or get it mixed in a studio or whatever.
Right.
And we'll get some new stuff because I think we've been focus grouped to the point where it's boring now.
Right. Well, the Star Wars sequel trilogy is a perfect example of how we wish they weren't doing things. The first movie, The Force Awakens, was basically like, oh, people are pissed off about the prequel trilogy, and we need to get back to like what the original trilogy was. Then the second movie, The Return of, Rian Johnson, Last Jedi. That was a reaction against like, oh, people are criticizing it, saying it didn't have any new ideas and it was too much like the old trilogy and we need to like do new ideas and reject the old ideas. So that was the entire point of that movie. And then the final movie, which was barely a movie, it was just such a, chaotic mess. But that was all about correcting The Last Jedi. That was all about like, no, the old ideas do have value. Every movie was a rejection and a rebellion of the one that came before it. Hey, I got an idea, guys. How about you tell a good story?
Right. Well, that's the cynicism of Disney in a nutshell. We'll just throw money at it and talent, quote unquote, until it's good and people are going to buy tickets. and we're going to make money. We'll put $1 billion into it. We'll make $2 billion out of it or whatever the fuck that they think they can do.
They probably did.
I'm sure
they have. But that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the market does not reward creativity. It rewards the same shit, the shitification.
I think, it's not quite. So when I think franchises, I think sequel, spin-off, corollary, but I also start to think now reboot, right? And we've seen in our past 10 years, past 8 years, whatever, so many reboots. And at first I was just cynically thinking, well, they're just aimed at the people who have the money, right? So like, when's the Goonies reboot happening? Because, right, like I'm 40 and Goonies came out at a prescient time in my life. So they're going to reboot it because I'll go pay to see a Goonies reboot. Please don't fucking do that. Stop. I won't. I might, but I won't like it. Right. So like, that's part of it too, is that not only do we have this franchise where like we're going to get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 13, whatever, then the spin-offs and the prequels and the postquels, but then we'll get the reboots as an attempt to like rectify the previous version as if the original version was not enough. And we can't live without a retake of that in 2026, 29.
None of that is in service to telling a good story. Like Mike,
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
To open your wallets and get you to subscribe to a streaming service or to go buy tickets to something or to whatever. It is the ultimate expression of what is wrong with our, what are we in the, not post-capitalist, but the, was the end of the capitalist era there,
well, I mean, I would say like the fall of Rome is where we're at, but
we're at that point where it's like I think even your average Joe Schmo, who is not a well-read person, who is not I don't say that we're like experts, but educated in this realm.
So not our listeners. Our listeners are educated in this realm.
Well, even to whatever extent people are, they're all becoming aware that you're just getting the same shit over and over again. And I think even if your casual fans are turning away because of it, that shows you how bad the situation is right now and how good it is to finally say, well, got to pump the brakes. Maybe we got to try something different.
Yeah. I mean, a couple years ago, the big thing was, Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie opening opposite each other. And, they were very different films, and I didn't see the Barbie movie, but I understand people liked it very much. They thought it was great. But I did see Oppenheimer, and I thought at the time, like, it was so refreshing that this ambitious movie, that was very long and very slow moving, and very big in its historical themes, was the other movie, right? That is what's become so rare, that was this. And now granted, that's because it was Christopher Nolan. He has cachet. He's been around for a while. If it had been another director, maybe it wouldn't have got the attention that it did. But those moments, and in this article, Scorsese talks a lot about, that being the thing that's dying is the opportunity for the people with the ideas. He doesn't necessarily say we shouldn't have Marvel movies. He's just concerned that that's what has flooded the field and pushed out, you still have your Paul Thomas Andersons. You still have, your Martin Scorsese's. We've talked about Denis Villeneuve. Edgar Wright is a good one. There's still some great directors, but most of them have been around for about 15, 20 or more years now. And he's concerned that the Marvel stuff, the franchise stuff, the reboot stuff is flooding the field, and that new, young people with ideas, new stories to tell are not going to get the opportunity.
Okay. Two things to take off from what you're saying. This is what they really want, though. It's the flooding the field that is now saying, we don't need to put this stuff in theaters anymore. We're going to go direct to consumer or streaming. And for them, that saves a ton of money and generates way more revenue. That's one cynical take on it. But then you've got the people like Denis Villeneuve who still want that tentpole experience of going to a theater to see some kind of a spectacle on a big screen, which I still love. Right. I'll be real with you guys. I haven't been to a movie theater in over a year because there hasn't been anything I wanted to see. Nothing has drawn me there to actually be like, I need to see that on the big screen. And that to me is frightening, because I love going to the movies. I love seeing things like Lord of the Rings and, its original form there, taking shape on a big screen. And I think the Dune movies might be a good barometer to judge a lot of this by, because there is that turning this into a franchise. They've already made an HBO spinoff show about the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
There's other movies coming out, and Villeneuve is not the kind of director that I ever would really associate with falling into that Hollywood trap of being a franchise guy. But here we are, and his vision, beautiful. We reviewed it already. Go back and watch it or listen to it, guys. We've talked about the Dune movies. They're incredible.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming, well, we got to crank out this one. We got another one coming. Oh, there's another TV show coming. Well, now we're going to have breakfast cereal for the kids.
Messiah.
And Elbo's going to be this, and it's like
he also did Blade Runner 2049, which was an insanely great movie. We reviewed that.
We did review that as well.
But you're right. Like, that's another franchise movie that that director did.
But I would say a limited franchise in that it doesn't have its spin-offs. It doesn't have its breakfast cereals.
Right.
There's no
Blade Runner the breakfast cereal.
But that's not for lack of trying. I think if the attempt of that film had produced more than what they got. Now, yes, the cinephiles loved it.
Yeah.
The people who appreciate the original movie loved it, but that is a limited.
It was not I don't believe, a commercial success.
No, it did not spark what they wanted.
Right.
And I think that that's a different idea. Like, the franchises that were almost like they died in the womb, like that might be one of them. Like, well, it had the potential in their eyes, but Blade Runner would never work as a franchise. That's just not the point of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that 2049 was even remotely good.
Right.
Because again, it's like such a contained story already. And I think that's what we're looking at, is like that idea of the bloated expansionist. Like, there's so much like this spinoff, that's like you said, Adam, prequels and sequels and requels and all these things. It's just, where does it end?
It's the shamelessness too. I think somebody used that word earlier. But like, you look at all the ones that it's like people forget that they even went on and made all these sequels of, because there's no attention paid to like the quality. They don't care that much how it does commercially, because it's probably still going to make money versus what they put up. So, I mean, Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park, Terminator had a whole bunch of fucking
oh my
weird
God.
sequels.
Wasn't there like
10 or 15
8 or 9 of them?
There's like 5 or 6.
There's just they just
stop after 2.
Anything that they can take and be like, there will be. And I don't have a problem with nostalgia. I don't have a problem with saying, like, here's an interesting fictional world, let's develop it more. But I think, like, Scorsese's point is, I think our point is like, there's a difference between doing it in a shamelessly capitalist way versus actually caring about cultivating the franchise, the characters, the setting, and tending to it, caring for it,
My last point, and then I'm throwing it back to Adam because we move on.
I've got one more point. It's only been 20-ish minutes.
Okay. I'll just say that, like, you guys all remember the movie Jaws.
Yes.
Jaws sticks in your mind. It's a great movie. It's like one of the best movies, like summer blockbuster movies ever invented. The top.
I was going to say, it was, I think, the first summer blockbuster. Yeah.
Do you remember Jaws 2?
That was a thing?
How about Jaws 3?
No, sir.
4?
Stop it.
There's more.
You're making that up now. 4?
5? Remember that one?
No.
See what I'm saying? Like, they've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
They've been, like you said, that cynical capitalism of trying to basically rape a franchise or an idea until you have taken every last drop of any value out of it is not a new idea. But I think the ubiquity of access to all of these services now that offer these things has really ramped up the dialogue here and made it much more prevalent. Like, yeah, you could ignore Jaws 4 back in the day. It's like, oh, that's just some cash grab, whatever.
Right.
Kids might go to the theater because they're bored and they want to sit in an air-conditioned room for a couple hours. But now, because it's everywhere and you see it, and that's become like the main capital of Hollywood, instead of actually fueling young, ambitious directors and writers with great ideas, you're now going to like, well, what can we make the most money with the minimal investment on?
Right.
What do we already have the sets for? What do we already have the digital models for? Let's do that. Let's do another Jurassic, whatever, because we can already do that. That's no big deal. That's the problem. That's where I think the franchise needs to die.
And you're right, they've been doing it for a long time. And it's not just science fiction and fantasy. I mean, we had Godfather Part 3, going back like 40 years now.
Exorcism 2.
Yeah, I mean, these were serious movies, and
I prefer the Sexorcism.
They're making, as we speak, you guys familiar with the movie Heat? That excellent Michael Mann film?
I think so. Pacino and
De Niro. Yeah. She's got a great ass. Pacino in that movie.
Now it's Pacino.
Yeah. Anytime we can break out the Pacinos, I could say.
They're making a new Heat, and I don't know if the same director is attached, and I don't know if it'll be good or not, but I do find myself asking why. Like, did anybody get to the end of Heat and think like, what we need to do is wait about 30 years and put out a part 2,
I have an answer.
I'm waiting.
I'm getting out my Lenin and Trotsky here. It's all about the capitalism, baby.
Yeah.
There's less competition in the media space, so there is less pressure to make new important things. I mean, 3 families own Warner Brothers, HBO, Paramount, Disney, Hulu, all that shit, Netflix. Netflix owns itself, but they tried to own HBO Max and all the other shit. Right? So, who cares?
Right.
You make a flop, there's only 2 other people you're competing against, and they're going to make flops in other areas.
And I think a lot of what you just said is in this article Scorsese wrote, and I remember it well, because I remember I worship Scorsese. I worship his films. He's made some of the greatest movies of all time: Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, The Departed, Gangs of New York. It just goes on and on. And he's not saying that there shouldn't be a space for these movies. And he clarifies that I'm quoting him, a matter of personal taste and temperament. But the blowback that he receives, this legend of the screen, was outrageous at the time. There were actors from Marvel movies that were making a big deal out of it. I don't know who this old guy is who's saying these things. We work really hard on these movies. And it's you missed the point.
Yeah, it's not what he was saying.
We missed the point.
Everybody works hard in a movie.
That's right.
Even if it's a shitty Sharknado 3. Yeah. Everyone works hard.
Sharknado 3.
That's a thing, by the way.
I'm aware. Yeah. We recently were in a hotel room. I think it was for one of my daughter's gymnastics meet, and we somehow ended up watching The Meg.
Oh, we own The Meg.
Jason Statham. And, I understand he's in a new movie called The Beekeeper, which I actually want to watch because fucking that sounds great.
It's funny you're mentioning so many of these movies have attempts to create a franchise, and I just feel like that part of Hollywood, that's part of Hollywood's story, maybe has run its course. And again, I
hope so.
Time for a course correction.
Yeah. I mean, if we're, talking about our own personal takes, just my personal take, I was never a big fan of the superhero genre. There's a few that I like. But I was very annoyed by Marvel's Ascendance for a long time because it's the only movies anyone wanted to see or talk about. And it wasn't, I don't criticize people who were into them. It just was not my bag. You know what I mean? And when that star started to fade a little bit, it didn't cause me to lose any sleep at all.
I'll admit fully, I was into them. I was into the comics back when I was a kid, and seeing the things come to life in the theater was a thrill for me. And my kids liked them, and the escapism of them was interesting. And I think what Marvel did well was they were able to knit together 20 movies into a coherent storyline, which was actually pretty remarkable.
It's an impressive feat.
Adam, it's impressive, but then they just didn't let it stop. And that's the key. Knowing when to quit, I think, might be the final message I want to have on this whole conversation is, okay, you want to develop a series of movies or properties or whatever, books based on an idea. Great. I understand the idea of creating a franchise, but know when it's run its course. When it's done, that's it. Shake hands with everybody, clap each other's backs and say, hey, we did it. We fucking pulled it off. How amazing is that? We actually made this thing happen. Don't go back and try to put, jumper cables on the nipples of that corpse and get it going again, because it's just not going to work.
I was actually going to point to the upcoming movie, The Bride, as a reason to think that there's some new life being breathed into not franchises, because I wouldn't call Frankenstein a franchise per se,
Property.
but a property
IP.
from new directors that are actually adding things to the story there.
Somebody just did Wuthering Heights. I didn't see it, but I thought it was cool that someone did it.
Right.
Christopher Nolan is going to release The Odyssey, which
Damn.
is, I think that either comes out this year or 2027, starring Matt Damon. And I am fucking pumped for that shit.
I'm
I cannot wait.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction right now that is the movie that will signal the end of Christopher Nolan's career.
Oh, because he worked with Matt
Because
Damon?
it'll be his greatest achievement, and he'll ride off into the sunset.
Magnum opus and done?
It's because The Odyssey is famously just very difficult to film. And
It's what they said about Dune
it breaks
and Lord of the Rings.
It breaks
Yeah.
most of them. I'm going to say that Nolan will not recover.
Jackson,
Oh,
Villeneuve,
remember that he said
Nolan.
this?
Yeah.
I do. We have to
Timestamp
revisit this.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Oh, my watch died.
I got to get back into character, right?
Yeah, that's true. I've been so thrown off. I don't know who I am when Sean isn't pissed about something.
Fuck it. Let's go on to our other things.
Sure.
Yes, let's do
Sure.
the other things.
You want me to? I can go first.
Please.
That's fine.
Lead us.
All right. So,
Yours is the most titillating.
oh,
Should we leave it to the end? Should we?
Oh, maybe we
should
should.
we edge it?
It's easier.
I think
Yeah.
actually ending with that is probably better.
Okay.
honestly. It's
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
pretty fucking awesome.
All right. Well, then I will wait my turn.
I'll go. What the fuck?
Yield my time.
I'll start with I think I mentioned it in a previous cast, but I'll talk about Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, and to a lesser extent Brandon Sanderson, I guess.
Mhm.
It's I don't have much to say about it other than I am just like wading through the slog at the moment, and it's one of those things where like we just got done talking about franchises, and they're trying to franchise Wheel of Time into something. I think
Stop.
Amazon, I think.
Of course.
They did a really lousy show from what I heard.
Yeah, and I read some stuff occasionally comes up on like Reddit and other places where I frequent my nerdy discussion boards, and people talking about some people love the show, some people hated it and whatever, but again, it's hey, here's a beloved fantasy franchise, a series of books that people have a lot of reverence for. Let's do something with it, and let's turn it into some sort of whatever.
Some more money here.
What's that?
Here's some more money here.
Yeah, exactly. There's money to be had here, and it didn't work out. They canceled it, I think, after 2 seasons or whatever. But I'm like sitting there as I'm reading this thing, and as I'm, oh my god, guys, once I've begun a journey, it's really hard for me to walk away and cut my losses. I'm a sunk fallacy.
You will walk right into the ocean and die.
Dude, I am a living embodiment of the sunk cost fallacy. Like I can't cut and go. I'm invested now. Fuck, what did I do to myself? Because
you're 8 books in,
dude,
30,000 pages in.
Oh, I wanted to do it because it's one of those, like major epics of fantasy.
Mhm.
Like people talk about, and I did some reading about because I wanted to see because George Martin is never going to finish the Song of Ice and Fire. It's never going to happen. And I got really optimistic about a year ago, and I reread A Dance with Dragons, whatever the final book was that he published, and I was like, oh my god, it's coming. The signs are aligning. It's finally going to happen. And it fucking didn't happen. Fuck you, George R. R. Martin. I think I've done that a couple of times on this cast, but fuck you again.
Still doing it.
Yeah. So, whatever, that cucklord can't finish his own fucking series. So, I'm like looking for alternatives. So I started looking like what inspired him to write Game of Thrones and all this stuff. And then people keep mentioning Robert Jordan and Wheel of Time. And I'm like, well, I mean, if this is one of the Mac Daddy OGs of modern high fantasy, like I probably should read it. Because again, going back to our last cast, I'm a Lord of the Rings, Dyed in the Wool, like that to me is the pinnacle of all fantasy. Like nothing will ever be better than Lord of the Rings. It's impossible. It just can't be. Because of its like primogeniture, like it is the first of all. Nothing will ever, but you guys.
Yeah.
But the Wheel of Time is supposed to be like highly regarded, very well revered. Mike, you said you have dabbled in it a little bit, and I'm like, well, if Mike even starts something, I know it's got to have some merit to it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you like to dabble in a lot of different things, and some,
some good, some bad.
No, but it's true. Like you're like almost like a tastemaker for me when it comes to like stuff that I should look at.
Thank you.
It's a compliment, sure. So I started into it, and I'm the kind of person that once I start reading something, I will not stop because for some fucked up reason, I don't know why, I'm like the Terminator of book reading. I will not stop until I have killed it. Yes.
Yeah.
We need to do the Terminator.
Yeah, we do actually.
And I got through the first book. It was not easy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought about it several times, going, "What the fuck?" It's like if you thought like
longer than Termination Shock,
dude. If you thought pages and pages describing like pigs on an airport is boring, fuck me. Like it's and the pacing of Wheel of Time is so uneven. It's like chapters, hundreds of pages describing stuff, and then you've got 2 paragraphs where everything happens all at once, and then you're like, what the fuck? So of course it edges me. And it gets me, you're gonna keep going back to that tired metaphor.
Yeah.
Well, it keeps getting me closer to finally, and then it's like, well, now I gotta read the next fucking book. So now I'm not,
maybe it'll happen then.
I'm thinking he's got to learn. I think I remember talking to you guys about this briefly when I first started. Like, I think he's going to get better. And the second book was promising. It did get a little bit more like, I think he learned some lessons from the first one. And then the next one, before I know it, I'm halfway through book 8 right now. I am fearful of actually counting out the pages that I read. It's got to be something like 5,000 pages or whatever by this point.
You don't use like a tracker app or like a tracker website?
I don't.
Like we use Storygraph in my family to like set goals and like track our books and pages read and shit.
Yeah, I guess I've never really been about like self-improvement goals and things like that. Like my work, they do like they got these goals they set and everything. Oh, you want to do this thing? Like steps counting and all this. I'm like, fuck that. No.
I was never into steps counting. But books read per year or pages read, yeah, I could fucking count that.
I guess I just do it because I want to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe I should, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm sure.
I'm maybe halfway through with this whole series, and it's like it's really hard for me to see where it's going. But I will finish it because now that I've begun it, and I see all the posts of people like who they say like they show a picture of the first page of the last chapter, like, well, here it goes, guys, I'm going in. And I'm like, well, fuck. Now I got to get to that point because I've been like shamed into. If I stop now, what have I done? I've wasted months of reading these things. I guess all of this is to say, it's, if any of you nerds out there are thinking about getting into Wheel of Time, know what you're getting into. Way more than I knew.
Know your limit, read within it.
I thank you. That's a good way to put it. I expected a lot. I expected to have to commit time to this, but I did not expect sometimes to feel like I was punching the clock when I went in. Like, it's like,
I hate that feeling.
Yes. It's like a job. And we've read books on this cast where I felt like, fuck, I got to read this thing right now.
And Kate Jemison, I'm looking at you.
You guys feel it, right? Like we've had some where we went in with real good optimism and we came out going, fuck.
Yep.
But it's, I'm hoping that the reward is worth it. Hit us up on the socials. If it is, please tell me if you've read The Wheel of Time and if I should stick this out or not. I will anyway, spoiler alert, but it's, I can't say wholeheartedly that I'd recommend it to you guys, honestly. I know, Mike, you started it.
I have started and read a good chunk of the first book, probably 3 or 4, or even a handful of times.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never gotten past page like maybe 300 or 350.
Yeah.
And it always ends the same way for me, where I'm like, I just need to give this a little time out. Fully intending to be like, I'm going to pick it back up though and finish it. And then the next thing I know, like 11 months have gone by and I'm like, it's not going to happen. So, and it's exactly for the reasons that you've described. It is a very cool fictional world. And, I like, it seems, at least in that first book, very influenced by Tolkien, which I'm a fan of that, but the pacing, like you said, is the problem. There's parts where I'm like, this is cool. And then it'll just stall.
The fourth blade of grass was slightly bent less than the first.
I mean, it's good world building, but it's also very, very dense.
Maybe someday when my kids are older and I have time to commit, But right now, I never get past like maybe page. They end up in like that city after they leave their village and they go into the wild for a while and then they end up at this city. It's about as far as I get.
Dude, there's like 3 cities after that.
Yeah.
It's
in the first book.
Yes, it's fucked. I will touch base with the nerddom again after I have finished this, and maybe I'll have a different opinion of it, but it's wearying. Yeah, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know, Adam, if you have any desire to get into this or not, think long and hard.
I may not now.
I mean, you know, honestly, though, your strategy of being an audiobook guy might pay off on something like that.
Yeah.
I've never really bought into it. I've done a few, like reading, Pimp.
Well, I mean, that one, yeah, that's definitely
the audiobook of that.
Bitch, you ain't nothing but a funky ass zero.
That is non-parallel, but
yeah,
this might actually benefit from the audiobook.
Yeah,
I'm just not. I just never get into that space, but I mean, that might be actually a good way to get through it. I'm going to make it up as I go, man.
When it gets to the part where he's describing the buttons on a dress, you can just put it on like double speed.
Yeah, 2x it. I mean, the audiobook for me comes out of necessity of just being a slow reader. Like we were on, I don't want to jump the shark here. We were on vacation and my wife read 700 pages on vacation.
Damn.
I can't read like that.
No, obviously neither can I. I read 130, maybe 150. Now, granted, I was not as enthused about the book I was reading as she was about the book she was reading. But still, I mean, and the book she read was like the size of the Fellowship here in terms of like print page.
Yeah.
And mine was mass market paper book. So, you know, it's like 30-40% of this book size wise. So, you know, the pages are not the same either. So, you know, I won't get in because that kind of leads into the topic I'm going to talk about. But yeah, I sometimes just have to do it so I finish stuff to talk about.
Well, that's part of it too, is it's the, like, if you're really into the book, it doesn't feel like you're reading a lot.
Yeah.
You just get into it and you go.
Yeah. Like we said with Murderbot, like, I mean, they're short books, but like they just go so fast.
Exactly. Or like when I first read Lord of the Rings or A Song of Ice and Fire, it's just like you get into that place and you don't want to leave it. And then you just find yourself like, shit, I just read 800 pages or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wheel of Time is not quite doing it for me.
Yeah.
Shaun, when you finish Wheel of Time, Malazan Book of the Fallen, I've told you about that series many times, man. I've never read anything else like it, and I never will again.
This is the fascinating little side note real quick before I pass the torch to you, because you did recommend that to me, and I did pick up the first book, and I did read a couple of chapters, and I said, nah.
It's
wow.
Rare.
You only gave it,
rare.
Usually you'll finish anything.
Yeah, so the first book is widely recognized as the weakest in the series, and many people don't go on. The greatness of the series begins in the second book. He wrote the first book, and then it took him 10 years before he got it published.
Wow.
And then he wrote the second book, and by then he was such a better writer and a more complicated writer, and the world itself was so much more realized. The first book I read, and I was like, I read the second book, and I was like, it was like revelatory. And then the rest of the series is that way. The complexity, the literary value, everything, mythology, history, it's incredible. You just, that's the trade-off, is you got to get through
This
that
is the sound of Mike dropping another 1,000 pages on Shaun's lap.
Fucking life list. Thank you.
That said, that's actually a good segue into what I'm going to talk about.
What do you have in front of you there?
So I've been reading the Sun Eaters series, and I say that's a good segue because I read this first book when it came out. You can see it's in hardcover. I don't like hardcover. I rarely buy hardcover. But I happened across this book, and I'm like, the fucking cover looked awesome. And then I was reading like the description of it, and I'm like, it sounds fucking amazing. So I picked up this first book, and I read it, and just like I said about Malazan, I was like, you know, it was fine. Like, I wasn't in love with it, and I did not go on, right? So like 5-6 years goes by, and much of the rest of the series gets written. And all of a sudden it starts popping up. I keep seeing it everywhere. I keep seeing like people raving about this series. You see it in like YouTube, booktuber videos. I'm just seeing it in like websites and stuff. Everyone's talking about how great the Sun Eater series is. So I'm like, all right, you know, maybe I'll give it a second try because I do love the premise of it. Not going back and rereading the first book though. So I read a summary of it and I picked up the second book. And the second book is the one, boom, that did it. Like it's like a 9 or 100-page book or so, and I could not put it down. I crushed it in like a week. It was insane.
Yeah.
Went on, I read the third book. It was so fucking good. I have the fourth book sitting on my nightstand at home, but I'm into some other stuff at the moment, so I'm kind of like letting that ride, and then the next thing I'm going to read is the fourth book, and I think there's 6 or 7 of these. So the premise of this series, it takes place in a sort of Dune-like world. It's like tens of thousands of years in the future. Earth is long left behind. Humanity is spread out in the galaxy, and it's ruled in a sort of feudal society by like a series of powerful houses. Not unlike Dune.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, in this first book, from what I remember of it, the main character, Hadrian Marlowe, is like the outcast son of one of these houses. And, keeping it short, through a series of stuff, he's like outcast from his house. He ends up fighting in like a gladiatorial arena where he meets a lot of the characters that become his like friends and major characters in the series. And his rise starts from there. By the second book, he's like a powerful lord with his own ship. And by the third book, he's like, very close to the imperial family, which is both a good thing and a bad thing and, everything. So all of this is like your stock space opera stuff so far. Here's what makes this shit so fascinating. It's a few things. Hadrian Marlowe narrates the series, and from the beginning of this series that he is eventually going to, at the end of this series, destroy a star in order to essentially commit genocide against the alien race that they're at war with. And the premise, as described by the author, is that he wanted to explore the idea of, I'm paraphrasing it, but he describes it as Anakin Skywalker turning into Darth Vader, not for power, but to save humanity, right? So someone who's like deliberately commits a great, terrible, evil act, but for, what he felt was like a necessary reason, right? And from the beginning that this is where this is all headed. And it's brought up frequently by the narrator that this is where you're going. And that hangs over the entire series. So that's part of it. Hadrian Marlowe himself is a fascinating character. He tells the story like much later on when he's old and he's like relating all these events. So you get that unreliable narrator piece where you're always trying to figure out like how much of this is factual versus how much are his own biases or his own self-mythologizing.
Glamorize.
So that's part of what makes it so great. And then a third part of it is the prose is excellent. You guys know I'm always prose guy on this.
Yeah.
I hate if I feel like it's young adult fiction. Like I can't stand
especially the dialogue.
Exactly. And this is the writing in this series is outstanding. It's so good. And then the other thing is just the world building is incredible. Like some of the places that they go to, some of the set pieces within this are, again, it's like it's space, but it feels like fantasy, it's in the second book, there's a character who is out of human mythology. He's like tens of thousands of years old, and he's like maintained his life by like always being able to pass his consciousness on to clones that he raises. And, and he lives in this like fucking massive, like Gothic cathedral, like, or castle type of place where it is fucking fascinating, man. Like this thing is epic. It's huge. I am very much enjoying this series, and I highly recommend it to people who like this kind of stuff.
Sean adds another book to his wish list.
Fuck.
Yep.
That's a good fuck.
Yeah. Well, they can't all be. So I'm glad that one was. No, that sounds really interesting, and I love the premise of like turning bad, quote unquote, for like the right reasons when you feel like you have no other option.
I'm giving you guys like the super short version of it, but Hadrian, begins through the first several books as the opposite of that, right? Like they've been at war for, generations with this alien species, and there's no sympathy for them in most humans. And he's the one who's like, no, we got to try to build like diplomatic relations. And, he wants to learn about their culture and all this stuff. And that's, that having that on one side of your brain juxtaposed with knowing where this series is going to go and what he's going to do, hanging over the whole series it's just really interesting to me.
And it's been a while since I've read a good space opera too, to be honest.
Yeah. The last good one I read was The Foundation.
Oh, that's an excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a good
We
point
did
to make.
not ever do a cast on that.
We have not.
I
No.
wrote it from you, so it was good.
Yeah, that's one maybe we ought to consider. All right, so you have some more titillating material.
Yeah, so
Understand.
I'm going to talk about a genre in general, which I've recently been turned on to. Pun intended. And so, I mean, if you wanted to, just throw it in post.
So it's going to be hard for you to talk about.
No, but I will tell you that the best fiction in this genre does not make jokes like that.
Okay, I got you.
One does not simply make jokes about the phallus.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I'm gonna take this serious. I'm gonna sit more erect in my chair.
Yeah, okay. You're gonna have to use anatomically correct words here. No, so colloquially, the genre that I've been reading on the side, I've been cheating on our stuff with, would be maybe sometimes called like fairy porn, or sometimes just called like adult fantasy is kind of the genre. And my wife's been into it, and so I started reading it because I trust her taste. And ostensibly, it's fantasy that has sex scenes, but it's because it's aimed at like the female audience. It's really an interesting take. There's no toe popping and mouths here, guys. Come on. I warned you. I was going to say it. Yeah. I knew, I couldn't stop myself.
Nerds of the Old Republic, classic callback.
Classic. If you don't know where that's from, go find our Cory Doctorow episode. But it's the genre of fantasy. And I know that like pulp fantasy had like the male gaze, where this is more like, hey, guess what? Women also desire sex, and women also would like consent, and women will also fuck a dude, right? Like, so, like, there's, calling it fairy porn is like being glib about it. This is almost derogatory, but so, for example, the Fourth Wing series is a dark academia where the world is being besieged by dark riders of, at first you think it's griffins, which are what they sound like, and the title character is going into a war college thinking she's going to be a scribe, like a scholar. Her mom forces her into the dragon rider contingent, where basically every single day you're either threatened with death or you have to kill somebody. And so steel yourself, ready yourself, you will die or someone else will die. She's also beset with like very weak joints and like persistent pain. So like the fact that her mom throws her into this quadrant where she's basically expected to die or kill somebody every day is staggering. So it's dark academia. And then there's also this like physical attraction to this guy she shouldn't be attracted to, who, the story gets more complicated. I don't want to give it up, but, guys, it's enjoyable reading.
And fantasy.
It's kind of fuck fantasy, but like,
what'd you call it earlier? It was dragon smut.
Yeah. Dragon smut. Dragon smut's also a great term for it. The dragons aren't fucking each other. It's the humans who are, just to be clear, and they all consent, which is great. But like, it's like good relationship stuff where like the sex is attractive.
Okay.
And there's like killing people with like magical powers and swords and dragons. And like in the Fourth Wing series specifically, you have to be chosen by a dragon after you survive 1 year of like daily death experiences. And even on the day that like a dragon can choose you, if you don't do things right, a dragon will just kill you that day and you're gone. Like, goodbye. Doesn't matter. You weren't worthy. And the protagonist, Violet, who is called Violence by a character who becomes her love interest, she actually gets the biggest, baddest ass dragon that scares all the other dragons. But she also then gets bonded to a second dragon, which has never happened before. So she becomes, here's the other thing. I'll get there in a sec. She becomes the most powerful rider, even though she wasn't expected to be. So there's kind of like a trope there.
Yeah.
But you like that for her because she doesn't know it's coming. And she stands up for the dragon, who was actually like a hatchling, like a very young dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And so that bonds her to that dragon. And then this like real badass dragon is like, oh, I appreciate the fact that you stand up for this youngling who wasn't probably going to defend herself. So like, here, I will be yours too. And you're wicked ass smart. And she becomes like the badass of the fields when her mom, you think her mom doesn't expect her to live, which is like just rewarding as character development. I'm on book 2 of book 3. Book 4 is coming out soon, and they're all like 500, 700, 800 pages. So you know me, that takes a long time. But most of the books in this genre, adult fantasy, we'll call it, are that long, and they're series. So like my wife is on book 3 or 4 of another series that we started her on Christmas. They're each like 700 pages. So she's read like 2,100 pages.
Damn.
And it's, yeah, as far as I can see, it's either dark academia, kind of like Harry Potter for grown-ups where everybody fucks, which is fantastic, like cool. Or it's, you know, lost princess, doesn't know she's a princess, gets stolen to a court of royalty, forced into a marriage. She finds out she's a princess. She takes her power. She finds her power, and she like destroys the patriarchy. Are kind of the 2 tracks that I've seen so far. I'm sure there's more.
Yeah.
But it's really rewarding. The sex scenes are great. Like really great.
It
Just
sounds
for
like
interest.
like the anti-George R.R. Martin, where
Yes.
the sex scenes are horrible and disgusting.
I think that's what I
and
appreciate about it.
non-consensual.
I really do think that's what I appreciated, is that like it feels realistic. Like, sure, okay, they have powers, and like in Fourth Wing, Violet can literally speak in her mind to the guy. So like sometimes they don't have to talk, they can just say shit or like feel each other's emotions, which would be a fantastic boon as a real human, by the way. If I could just literally feel someone else's emotions, I'd love empathy, but that's just not how I work. But at the same time, it's like nice to see like not the male gaze be the controlling style and still enjoyable for everybody there.
Yeah. Makes you think, like, could you imagine if Tolkien had wrote sex scenes?
I actually picture him as asexual. I know he had kids, but still.
Yeah, but think about it, like Aragorn and Arwen. Like, can you imagine
I know.
down? Like, no, I can't. Or even Faramir and Eowyn. Like, they're probably the closest you can. And that's like the only women in the whole series that has mentioned both of them at once. But, or Sam and Rosie Cotton. It's like, I can't see any of that, actually.
No.
They just snuggled and then there were kids. Like, that's it. Like, there was sex. What are you talking about?
If he was going to do it, there would have to have been a ton of like backstory and shit that, you know, is implied beneath the surface, you know, of the sex scene leading up to it.
15 or 16 dates before they even kiss.
Hobbits have a special room in the house for the
Yeah.
There are no windows, and it's soundproof, and you go in there for 30 days, and when you come out.
Yeah. When I will say the other thing, too, that's refreshing.
That explains how that goes back to hundreds of years, and that tradition began.
The old gaffer invented this.
Oh, yeah.
The gaffer.
And really, the idea of like the midwife goes back to Tom Bombadil, who is ages beyond ageless here.
Yeah.
Here's a song about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that would be so unattractive.
Horror, you know?
Yeah.
Spread out your legs.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And just the last point to be made that isn't always consistent with, you know, old school fantasy is like all kinds of love is accepted. So, you know, in the Fourth Wing, like women hook up with women, and then they hook up with men, and men hook up with men, and then like, you know.
It reminds me of Saga.
Yeah, very much. I almost forgot about Saga.
Great series.
That was a great one.
I almost brought back a graphic novel as my conversation for this because I just started Something is Killing the Children, which sounds dark, but it's actually fairly, I don't want to say uplifting. That's not the right word, but
Benign.
Well, benign's not the right word either. But the protagonist saves kids from monsters that only the kids and her can see, so that like the adults don't believe the kids in what's happening. So that's side chat for maybe next season.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, but, pick you up some dragon smut, some fairy smut. We're talking A Court of Thorn and Roses, A Throne of Glass, Fourth Wing.
Oh, wait, I've seen those.
Right?
I was gonna say
They're
that.
also selling bank right now.
Yeah.
Did I see them in the young adult literature section? I better not have.
I hope not. No, those are adult
It
books.
must be up in the front.
They're explicit sex scenes
Once you
all
said
over
that
the place.
Court of Thorn and Roses.
Yeah.
I have seen that. So
I've heard of it.
That's 5 books deep. Each of them are 600 pages.
You know what else is really popular right now?
Sorry, Mike.
No, I mean, I will glibly say that, like, in Fourth Wing, there is a oral sex scene where there's like 5 or 10 pages of him getting down on her on the throne.
Damn.
And it mentions anatomy and feelings and body shapes and all. It's everything. It's like if Playboy wrote Dragon Smut.
Damn, you're reading this exciting stuff, and I'm reading
Yeah.
fucking like characters who, like, it's implied that he got down, but he'll never say what happened.
You could read these books.
I can't. I'm locked in.
Well, and the funny thing is, and I'll say this as my last point, like, my wife reads them and I'll read them and I'm like catching up. She's ahead of me on many of these. I'm not reading the series she's reading, and she finished the Fourth Wing series as it is. And I'm on book 3 of 3. Book 4 is coming out soon. And like the boys know that it's like, we call it like spicy adult fiction. Like, this is not for you because it's got like real discussions of like physical sex and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, ew. But I'm still sitting here in the middle of the day reading this spicy dragon book in front of everybody, and nobody thinks it's wrong. And I love that.
Dad, come play catch with us. I can't stand up now.
No, I can't get off the throne, guys. I'm stuck.
Just a minute.
Sorry, Mike, I interrupted you. You were going to say something.
I don't remember what I was going to say. Fuck.
It's hard to follow after a, multi-page oral sex scene mention.
No toe popping.
No.
Popping it.
No.
Yeah, all right, I'm in.
I mean, they're breaking furniture and they're like,
Fuck.
yeah. Well, so the main character, Violet, wields lightning as her magical power.
Okay.
And when she first gets it and she hooks up with the guy, like, she can't control it. So she's starting fires outside the castle and then like
Damn.
is destroying. So, and his power is like the power of shadows. So he can like close out the world with shadows. So like when they get really loud, he can just like cover the room in shadows and no one can hear him.
I wish I had that power.
Yeah, me too. That's the one downside is you read this and you're like, I'm only a man. Yeah. So, I think that wraps up our State of the Nerdcast for this year. We appreciate y'all staying around for all of our episodes and hopefully coming back next season. We like to take a little break during the summertime just so we can rest, recharge, and read some more Dragon Smut in my case, or whatever you got going on. But we'd love to hear from you on the socials. Blue Sky, Mike is active on Blue Sky there for us. He's got anatomically correct versions of us as pictures too. So
those are photographs.
check those out. Yeah, I thought those were hand drawn.
Yes. Well, yeah, they're. I take the photograph and then because I'm artsy, I hand draw my version of the photograph.
Mm-hmm.
But that's us.
Well done.
That's us in the Blue Sky pictures.
That's our last podcast. Can I have a couple of quick shout outs?
Absolutely, please. Plenty of time.
To Zabills.
That's right.
They are, my
family cast, I would say.
Yeah. But, go Bills, and hopefully, fresh air next year. They'll do a little bit better than they have in the past. And
maybe DJ Moore can freshen us up a bit.
Who knows, man? New coach, new staff. It's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Go Sabres.
Hell yeah.
We are going to get that cup, baby, or a wagon, as I've been being told by many people.
Fuck yeah, man. Go Sabres.
And if you live in the city of Buffalo, vote Bojack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vote Bojack. That's all I'm going to say. Adam, you know who you are. Vote for him.
There you go. All right. Mike, any shout outs or any last words before we sign off for a couple months?
Nope. I'm good.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, once
damn it, I feel like I'm like,
you're fine.
The indulgence.
No. Well, no, like You know what? Because it's your polycastery here. That's all right. I mean, yeah.
Sounds sexy.
That does. I mean, I've already talked about oral sex on the throne. So how can you beat that?
I'm glad you broke our
fantastic.
cherry on this cast. So
Sure.
we can do cryptid erotica next season.
And, there are so many ranges of this. It goes from like, I don't want to say the banal, because like what they do sexually and also like characters is not normal, but also to like the cryptid side. So there's something for everybody. There's no kink shaming in the Dragon Smut land.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you guys for another good season. I appreciate the efforts. It's been like many, many hours of reading and talking and drinking. So thank you for sticking out for another season here in the basement.
Likewise, it's a pleasure.
We do it
always. That is true, actually.
Not afraid to admit that. And the fame, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, tens of thousands of people, almost tens of thousands of people have listened.
Yeah.
And that's actually not fiction, dear listener. We were at 8.7 thousand last time I checked. By the time you hear this or listen, it'll probably be around close to 10.
Not earth-shattering by major podcast standards, but that is pretty fucking awesome, I think.
For you, Nerd Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know we don't have any listeners in Massachusetts, as we said earlier.
We did.
But we do have lots of listeners around the world. Australia, we're looking at you. Yeah. We've got some great listeners in New York and Canada. We've got some great listeners in Germany and England. We really appreciate seeing you, hearing you. Feel free to hit us up on Blue Sky or at Nerds of the Old Republic. nerdsofoldrepublic@gmail.com. We'd love to hear some suggestions for next year. One of the books this year that we read came from Kevin, who suggested a Sanderson piece.
Yes.
So,
correct.
We listen, we follow up, and, we're here for you, y'all. So,
Thanks, Kev Dog.
That's right. That's right.
Appreciate you.
On that note, cheers, nerds. I never know how to sign off on the final episode of the season.
All right. Let's do this like we just saved the Rohirrim.
Oh.
And we rode to glory on the fields of Pelennor. Cheers!
Cheers!
For Frodo.
Oh.
For Frodo!